Okay, so just letting you know, I'm about to start recording. So.
All right, hello, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. I now call this meeting of the Madison College Student Senate General Assembly to order at 4:33 p.m. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to say welcome to our General Assembly meeting of Madison College Student Senate. This is a public meeting, will be recorded for transparency and direct conversations. We want to cover a few basic items before beginning. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or by calling the number in the original email. To the senators and other members online, please activate your video and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. If it's possible, use the raise hand feature when you'd like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote as chair. As the call on committee members, the order in which hands are raised, lower your hands if you have the queue at this moment in time. Can I get a roll call?
Yes. President Jose Villarreal,
Present.
Vice President of Administration Finance Quinn Matson is present. Vice President of Legislative Affairs Bradley Burke. Present. Vice President of Team Development Sophia Kearney.
Lit.
Vice President of Public Relations Ari Nichols.
Present.
You. Advisor Cole.
Present.
Two senators, Senator Sanjay Jagadish,
Present.
Senator Annette Crowder.
She present.
Present.
Thank you, Annette. Senator Ashley Larson. Senator Nandine Fatulga.
Present.
Thank you. Did I say your last name right?
Yeah, it's Betulga.
Fatulga. Okay, thank you. Senator Ayman Adam Sharafuddin.
Present.
Hello, thank you. Senator Andy Moreno Portillo.
Present.
Senator Evan Sullivan Richgos.
Present.
Hi, Evan. Senator Angel Avila.
Present. He's in the chat.
Okay, Angel. Senator Corey Searle. Thank you. Senator Sierra Brunner.
Absent.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be moving on to regional and metro campuses. Portage, Senator John McCray is.
We're gonna go absent.
Thank you. Reedsburg Senator Furkan Sindar.
Present.
Watertown Senator is vacant, as is Fort Atkinson. Goodman South Senator Joaquin Lariva.
Joaquin, are you on by chance? Present. In the chat.
Present through the chat.
Yep.
Thank you, Cole.
Quorum met.
Sure. And yes, we have met quorum.
Okay, so we have quorum. At this moment, I'd like to approve the previous minutes, but there are none, so we will reading and approval of the meeting agenda.
Pull that up really quick.
Last meeting, was more of informational, touched on trading and getting things. So this one will have an actual agenda. Now, what we have for public comments, we have a guest speaker. He will be here with us and open the floor to him as soon as we can after we power through this. We have team building exercise. Advisor Cole, did you get that one settled?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a team building exercise. We have reports from officers, advisors, and committees. We have reports of special guests, and that's reports from regional metro campuses. And we have reports from college assembly and shared governance councils. We don't have any unfinished business. We will be having a section for new business, non-business, announcements, and adjournment. I'd like to remind everybody after adjournment, if you can read the back page of the agenda, we're going to ask you to stick around so we can talk about lesson 3 in bright space. Coming, Senator. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda? A motion. All right, motion, Senator Sertzel. Do I have a second?
Here.
Senator Sanjay. Discussion. Any? Hearing no discussion, I open this up for a vote of unanimous decision in 5, 4, 3.
Second. So again, as a reminder, just to state, if you disagree with what we're about to do, unanimous consent is we assume everybody accepts it unless you say otherwise. So as Jose will state, unless if you disagree, please say now. Otherwise, this motion will pass in like count.
Yep. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Motion passed. Agenda has been passed. We will now move on and get right to it. Public comments?
So for public comment, we have folks from Enrollment Services as well as folks from the nursing program here who will kind of give us an overview of some of the updates to the admissions process. They'll be joining us online. And so with that, the folks who are attending are obviously in your agenda, but we will turn over to Bill Doherty and his team to go ahead and talk. We have 20 minutes. Bill, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you all for having us in tonight. I am going to present, share my screen. So today we're here to talk about some upcoming changes to admissions, specifically talking about admissions waiting lists. So I'm going to talk through how we are changing, particularly away from petition to waiting lists. And I'm going to describe that a little bit more in depth here. So the project that we're presenting tonight is referred to as TCS 10 compliance. And those of you who may not know about TCS 10, so back in July of 2024, the Wisconsin Technical College System provided guidance for all the system schools related to Chapter 38 of the Wisconsin statutes and TCS 10 of the Administrative Code. So TCS 10 is a chapter of the Wisconsin Administrative Code that establishes policies related to residency, admissions, and fee refunds for all of the Wisconsin Technical College schools. So the guidance they released outlines the procedures for managing waiting lists for college programs with limited spots within the Wisconsin Technical College system. The guidance aims to ensure transparent, consistent, and fair access to these programs, following state rules and regulations while also providing appropriate support for student success. So since that time, many folks at the college have been working to transform our admissions process to meet these new guidelines. And I'm going to talk through what some of the changes are and then show you how we hope to explain those changes on the website. So you will see the actual language we intend to use to explain the change to admissions. So what is changing? The petition process is being replaced by a declaration process. And petition, as it's known across the Wisconsin Technical College system, is going away. So uniformly, all of the WTCS institutions will be rid of petition. That's no longer an allowable process. We're also we've received increased guidance and transparency about how students are admitted from waiting lists. So each institution within the WTCS was doing things a little bit different. And if you happen to be a student who maybe went to Blackhawk and Madison College, you were experiencing very different admissions processes, which is confusing. So central office is giving us all guidance to streamline and uniform how we admit students to our colleges. So within these changes, all of the technical college system schools will use similar language. We will all be referring to student admission classifications as pre-core, core ready, and core active. So again, students who flow between Blackhawk and Madison College or Lakeshore, these are the same sets of terminology that will be used by all of the Wisconsin Technical College System institutions. So when is this happening? So the process will be effective for students who are applying for core program admission for the 2026-27 year. So with these changes, I want to talk through how we plan to communicate this to students in a very transparent manner. So the coming slides will be the actual language that we intend to use on our website, and we will share this with you. So you will have this to review. And then we do have a short period of time between now and when the website would go live. So if anybody is interested in providing feedback on the proposed language, my colleague Amelia, who is on this call as well, is the one working with the web team to craft that language. So web updates. The petition information will be phased out as we will no longer have petition. We will create 2 new web pages for current students. One, the admission to programs with limited capacity, and then one about the declaration process. So program pages will be updated with waiting list information and the estimated wait times. These pages will link to information on the 2 new web pages. So as students are looking at the various programs we offer, they can click a link and get the information they may need about waiting times. So our website language, as provided by guidance from WTCS, has to be accurate, comply with state law, be easy to understand, and suitable for accessibility devices. So a lot of work is going in to change the content of our website. And we thank Amelia and our web team for all the hard work being put in to do that. All right, so here's the first new web page to preview. So this is the admission to programs with limited capacity. So as we explain it, there are some programs at the college where there are typically more applicants than there are spaces for new students. Waiting lists are a way to manage admission for limited capacity programs. Most program waiting lists are managed by enrollment services, and all are administered in accordance with Wisconsin TCS 10.7. As the web page progresses, then we will talk about admission to programs with limited capacity, the admissions priority. So in accordance with state regulations and WTCS guidance, Madison College admits students in the following sequence, using the date the student completed all application requirements to form the order of program admission within each group. So first, Madison College District residents. Applicants who reside within the Madison College District will have first priority for program admission, provided applications are submitted by the following priority deadlines. And we name those for the fall, spring, and summer semester. If you are a Madison College District resident and apply after the dates, you will be included in the next priority group, which is non-district state and Minnesota reciprocity residents. We'll link.
Bill,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I can see it on Teams, but we actually don't have the presentation pulling up on our end.
Oh, okay.
I've never had this before. I was like,
We can.
I know, but some folks may not be using it because that's why I just wanted to see kind of what was going on here. Because I just saw it here, but I just saw, are we okay to continue? Is everyone able to at least share up everybody? All right, I apologize. I just noticed that now. That's entirely on me, but it sounds like we made adjustments. So you're good to go. Continue. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's, we're flexible and adaptable. So on this page, we do link to the WTCS map of colleges so folks can see which district they may reside in, because as you may or may not know, the lines, are the lines, and you may be right on a border. So continuing with the admissions priority. So group 2, non-district state and Minnesota reciprocity residents, applicants who reside in another part of Wisconsin outside of the Madison College District, and applicants within Minnesota who get Minnesota reciprocity will have the same priority as Madison College District residents who apply after the priority deadline. Group 3 would be out-of-state residents. So applicants who reside outside of Wisconsin will be offered a place in the program after district and state residents if there are spaces available. Uh-oh.
Continue. My bad. No, you're good.
Nope, hold on, I'll just have to reshare. It went, that's all right.
Okay. That again.
That's
So
all
I had to
right.
work on the entirely. I apologize. We're
No,
not doing that again.
this is good. This is good. Keeping me on my toes. All right. So then out-of-state residents. So they will be accepted into the program. they're on hold until a month before the semester begins to determine if there is space in the program. Out-of-state residents are not eligible for admission to a program that has a waiting list. Okay. So talking more about waiting lists, when a program reaches capacity, Madison College District, non-district, state, and Minnesota reciprocity residents will be placed on a waiting list. The waiting list will be formed using the priority criteria listed previously. Residency status is based on the original program application, even if a student's residency status changes. Madison College also reserves the right to confirm a student's residency status with appropriate documentation. Students on the waiting list get priority in future terms based on the date they completed application requirements. Having priority does not guarantee a place in the program. You can choose to remain on the waiting list until a spot becomes available, as long as you continue to follow the steps to notify Madison College that you want to remain on the waiting list. All correspondence related to program admission, waiting list information, and the declaration process, if applicable, will be sent to the Madison College student email address, so it's important to check that regularly. And then we have information about the fall 26 notification timeline. So we will notify in March of 2026 about the available spots. Those who remain on the list will also receive an update on their estimated wait times. Okay, so now moving on into our website content, we'll have an area about student classifications. So as you move through the program admission process, there are different classifications for admitted students. These classifications in waiting list order do not transfer between programs. So pre-core is a student who has not yet completed requirements needed for core program courses. This only applies to programs that have academic preparedness requirements. Core ready. A student who has met academic preparedness requirements, if applicable, and is prepared to begin the program, but is waiting for a program seat to become available. And then core active would be a student who is currently in the core classes of their program of choice. So again, right now we use words like petition, pre-program, those are going away. And then these are the student classifications that all the technical college system schools will use. And then a section on academic preparedness requirements. So some programs at the college have academic preparedness requirements that must be completed before a student may begin program classes. Academic preparedness requirements include prerequisite coursework and other academic measures to ensure that students are ready for technical or occupational courses and can successfully complete program requirements. You may complete academic preparedness requirements while on the waiting list for that program, but you will not be admitted to the program until you've completed all requirements and a place in the program is available. When you've completed all academic preparedness requirements or are in your final semester of in-progress courses, you are ready to complete the declaration process. Priority will be given to students who have all academic preparedness requirements completed at the time of declaration before students who have requirements in progress. And then there's a link to the declaration process webpage. So waiting list confirmation process. Every fall and spring semester, students on a program waiting list must complete a short confirmation form. This form will appear in your to-do list during the waiting list confirmation window. And then we explain what needs to happen. Confirm if you want to stay on the waiting list or indicate that you're no longer interested in the program and wish to be removed. We note that if we don't get the form by the deadline, we will remove you from the waiting list. And if you choose to be removed or miss the deadline, you'll need to reapply if you change your mind later. And you'll be placed then at the end of that waiting list. And we also list the dates for when the confirmation windows are open. And then that's the end of that web page. How are we doing on time?
Good, you have about 8 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. So the declaration process, it's how you gain acceptance into core classes for limited capacity programs that have academic readiness requirements. These are programs that typically have more applicants than spaces for new students, and additionally have other requirements that need to be fulfilled before beginning program classes. So the path to your core program begins with applying for admission to your program. Your student classification will be pre-core. When you've completed all of your program's academic preparedness requirements, you will be classified as core ready and will be eligible to complete the declaration form. When you're admitted into your desired program and taking core classes, you'll be considered core active. Declaration only occurs during specific times of the year. And once you meet the eligibility criteria and are ready to begin program-specific courses, you'll submit your form during the designated window. You'll see more below declaration windows. So we've talked a little bit about that. Here are the steps for the declaration process. So admission to pre-core, complete academic preparedness requirements if those apply, declare, and then the declaration windows open 1, 2, or 3 times a year, depending on the program. And so I'm going to move through the content a little more quickly here to leave time for questions. But like I said, we'll share this with all of you so you have the actual content. So then after declaration, we manage our waiting lists and admit students to limited capacity programs, again, in accordance with the state regulations and the new guidance. Approximately 15 days after the close of the declaration window, students are notified if a spot is available for them and the next steps they need to take. So if a spot is available, your student status will change and you will be able to start the core program. And then we will give you all the information you need to do. In-progress students who are in their final semester of academic preparedness requirements must then complete all courses with a grade of C or higher by the deadlines provided in the notification email.
The only process is like done in a completely different section.
We will offer alternate seats to students on the waiting list. And then if we're at capacity, you would be notified that the program is at capacity. You'll remain on the waiting list and you will need to complete the declaration form again in the next available declaration window. While you're going through the declaration process, again, continue to check the Madison College email, as that's where we would continue to send updates. And then here's the information on when those declaration windows would be. So summer, fall, spring, and each program does not necessarily doesn't declare during each window. So that will vary by program. And then now we want to leave time for questions because it's a lot of content. As I said, these are snippets of what we intend to put on the website. Well, so with that, I will stop sharing and open the floor for questions.
Floor is up. All right. You want to follow them?
Senator Crowder?
So, with the different programs, is there going to be like, it listed somewhere so that students are clearly aware of when they can declare?
Yes. Kate or Amelia, do you want to talk about what we didn't display where students will be able to find that information?
Sure, yes. So each program webpage will also have specific information regarding when the program completes that declaration process. So if it does it just for fall, if it's fall and spring, and then we do have one program currently that will complete that for fall, spring, and summer. So students will see that on that individual program webpage. We also then communicate with students via messaging before that declaration window were to open to let them know 2 things. 1, that the window's approaching, and 2, if they're actually ready, if they're that core ready student or if they still need to meet remaining requirements. We do that about 4 to 6 weeks prior to the window opening in an effort for students that maybe miss turning in a transcript or need to take a test or do something, that they have adequate time to get that done to become ready before that declaration window opens.
Does that answer your question, Senator Crowder?
It does. Can I ask a follow-up
Sure
question? I also wanted to check on language accessibility. Because yesterday when we were at the Madison College board meeting, there was a lot of talk about language accessibility and seats that in some programs that are possibly coming up. I don't remember exactly which. I remember the program, it was dental hygiene, I think. That some of those students are with like Hispano.
Central
Hispano. So I'm just wondering about language accessibility too, especially if there are students who are new English learners, just to make sure that they're clearly understanding what's going on too.
So we do attempt, or we do run the language through, and we'll do this kind of one final time as we make those edits. We have some websites that we can run it through to make sure that it's at, or as accessible as possible. Part of the challenge is some of the words we don't have the ability to change because they are language that we are required to use. But in an effort to make it accessible, we do try and keep things to most part at an 8th grade reading level on the website. That being said, that doesn't always work for every single piece that we're trying to do. The other piece I don't know regarding the website is, Bill, do you know if there's ability for translate on the website to other languages?
Yes, but
And
I
the same with
don't.
emails.
Sorry, what
Okay.
was
Yeah,
that?
Bill?
If you want to go ahead, Bill, why don't you
Oh,
go ahead
Yeah,
before.
we can confirm with the web team, but they were working towards language conversion functionality on the website. I just don't know where they're at with that.
Okay. Would it be all right if Bill or somebody from his team gets back to you on that directly after the meeting?
And hopefully with email as well, because I don't know, like Student Life sends out emails in English and usually whenever possible in other languages too. Like when for elections, I know we did for student senate
As
elections.
far as for the advising?
Yes.
Or for the
Yes.
enrollment?
Sorry.
If you could, Bill, maybe connect with Senator Crowder afterwards and just
Sure.
get her a stat. Thank you very much. Anybody else? What, Senator Court?
How would this impact international students, like being prioritized in certain academic groups, like nursing or what have you, those larger volume classes?
A good question. So one thing I do want to note is that any student that is currently on the waiting list, if they are an out-of-state student, will be legacied in. So we are not saying out-of-state students that are currently on the waiting list will not have access to the program. That being said, based off of TCS 10, if a program on our priority serving kind of the in-district and then in-state students, there will be a number of programs that are limited to in-state applicants only because we cannot accept a out-of-state student, which would include international students, onto a waiting list. And so for some of the programs that we've talked about, nursing, for example, the concern would be if we admit an international student into that pre-program, and then the student becomes core ready and they do declare. If we have enough in-state students, we would never be able to accept that out-of-state student into the actual core program. And so we will, and actually nursing is restricted to in-state only currently right now, but there will be some additional programs that we are required to move forward with, just restricting to our in-state population, effective with fall of 2026. We are working closely with Stephanie Bellis in CIE regarding one, making sure that students that are currently on the waiting list do understand, but this is something that our hands are a bit tied, I would say, in relation to having to prioritize our in-state students first. So that's a change for us and how we used to do it with the petition process and what we're required to change that sorting with the new process.
I will jump back in and say Amelia has posted in the chat where the translate option is on the website. It does not answer the email functionality, so that'll be something we do have to look into. The other thing I was going to call it, there were some questions and conversations in the chat about, is this a language or more of like a programmatic change? A thing to note about Madison College's petition process that's going away. We were never a competitive process, and so this change will be a much more significant change for some of our WTCS peers who were using competitive factors in their petition process. So we were not like using work experience or prioritizing based on GPAs and those sorts of things. So we were already pretty aligned with the intent of TCS 10, but we can't do petition. We have to use a waiting list. So big credit to Kate who had us in compliance preemptively.
Okay, I got a few questions and if you want to call again.
Yep.
Awesome. So, two quick questions. One, is the transition to TCS 10 with it impacting WTCS, is this something that might be seen going out across the board to any other higher education institutions within the state? The one that comes to mind is I have a family that works as faculty in the nursing program at Carroll University or Carroll College. Is this something that's going to be instituted by every higher education, or is this really just the WTCS thing is making this turn to kind of make it all compliant and kind of cohesive?
Yes, so it's a Wisconsin Technical College system change. Our admissions practices are governed by those administrative code and state statutes in a way that like the WICU, the private schools are not.
Okay, awesome. My second question, and this is probably more of a pickup of last semester with the work that the previous Senate had done, working to understand more of that process with the Watertown nursing students. How does this process work if a student is put on the wait list but has no other classes that they can complete until they're able to take those core classes? Does this circumvent that issue? We might have talked about it. There was a lot of information on that slide. I'm going to look at these slides again, but does this circumvent that issue? Do we still run into that potential thing of there's no class that they can be taking while they're on the wait list, and does that impact their status?
There
I
will.
can kind of jump in. Wait, let me jump in here real quick, Kate, and then you can definitely fill in. And I just really wanted to come and introduce myself. I'm Kevin Foley. I'm the Associate Dean for the School of Nursing here at Madison College. And I know there's been a lot of discussion in the Student Senate this last year about the petition process and just some concerns about just the complexity and, you know, all of the steps that are involved with that. And so, you know, I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank you for all of your advocacy. And I just wanted to come here really just to provide some connection. I know there's just interest both from the Student Senate as well as, you know, the School of Nursing, just to provide more clarity and transparency. And just as, you know, we're hoping to do that, of course, you know, now we're changing things on you a little bit. But I'm really hopeful that this is going to be a good change. So there's more clarity around some of these processes and more transparency. And to your question, Cole, related to students who are, I'm going to start using the new language that we're all getting trained to use.
Sure.
Students who are core ready.
Sure.
But maybe there's too many, you know, students in front of them.
Sure.
Really, that's really my suggestion for that is we're really, you know, encouraging our students to be lifelong learners. And so we really have an interest for those students to think maybe beyond Madison College and look at what coursework might prepare them to become bachelor's prepared nurses, because we know that in the long run, that's going to be, you know, helpful for them. And so we have a lot of students who take some there's a pre-BSN pathway at Madison College. Statistics is a course, for example, that all bachelor prepared nurses need to take to earn that bachelor's degree. You can take a lot of that coursework here right at Madison College. And so we would certainly encourage students to kind of, while if they're in a semester of waiting, kind of forward thinking, you know, could I take statistics? Could I take foreign language or other gen ed requirements where I might want to be transferring to help better prepare me for the future?
Sure.
So that would be off the top of my head a recommendation. And so, yeah.
No, it's fine. Can I ask one follow-up?
Yeah, please.
Just because this was the topic, so this might answer this as well. If they're on the wait list, if a spot opens up at another campus, are they considered for that campus? Or does the wait list impact the specific campus they're taking classes at, whether it's Truax, Watertown, Goodman South, Reedsburg? How does that operate?
and I might defer a little bit to Kate and Bill here, but there's gonna be a process in the declaration process, just as there is in the petition process, there's gonna be this, part of that will be electing your first and second choice campuses.
Understood.
And so that process will remain in place it'll be now part of the declaration process of, selecting your campus. And I just want to put a plug. One of the things that's going to be really helpful for me as like an administrator in the nursing programs is students will now, like when they're in that pre-core programming, they're going to have to continue to say that, yes, I am interested in taking the nursing courses. Right now,
Also, are they expected to continue? Is there going to be a checklist, an Excel sheet, or
I'm gonna defer to Bill and his team on the details related to that. But one piece of data that it will give us is just how many students are still really active and interested in joining the nursing program. Especially if we can get that campus level data during that process, that's really gonna help us.
Sure.
Because right now, I'll give you an example. Like right now, we have around 2,200 students in that pre-core pod. So it's a huge volume of students. But there's a lot of fluctuation in that day to day. So if we can have more up-to-date data, that's really gonna help us. And Kate and Bill, I'm not sure if the question was related to how students will be submitting their continued interest in being in the core active. Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be a checklist item, a to-do list item in their student center that we will assign during kind of that window that we're going to require students to confirm. And we're still working on that messaging, but the plan would also be to send communication to the students during that time. And maybe during the first couple times we do it, some reminders if students aren't doing it in an effort to really make it apparent that students need to do that, with the hope that as the college becomes more comfortable with this process, it becomes second nature to those students of, oh, it's that time again, I need to complete that waiting list confirmation form. So we will first do that. We won't do it this fall, but we'll first be doing it in spring of 2026. So we're still working on at least the communication plan.
okay? VP Madison.
Is the,
Hold on one second. Yeah. So we are over time, so if we want to continue, which is fine, we have to make a motion to extend.
To extend the time
By how long?
by
Yeah, take how long?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay.
All right, Senator Larson, seconded by Senator Portillo.
Any discussion?
Any discussion? All right, we'll move to unanimous decision.
Sure. So if you disagree, let us know, but we'll move to vote by unanimous consent to extend the Q&A by 5 minutes as
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll extend till, let's call it 5:17 PM. And I will track on my phone. So Senator Matson, go ahead.
try to be brief. Is there a difference between this constant running data that you'd like to collect so you know what interest is going to be maybe semesters out, and the wait list confirmation process? And my second question is going to be, why the waitlist confirmation process? Do people get on the wait list and then get to the front of the line, and then you tell them that they can become core active, and they say, actually, I started doing something completely different. I guess I see the reasoning for the long-term data. I don't see the reasoning for the extra checks
in there.
when they're in line.
Very good question. Did you want to answer online, or did you want Kevin to see what he can do that, and maybe defer to?
Made sense.
Yeah, no, thanks for the question. I'll chime in from my perspective, and then Bill and Kate. So we have every imaginable possible situation that comes up. And yes, every semester we do offer a seat to somebody and they decline it for a whole number of different reasons. Sometimes it's, you know, personal hardship reasons, some situation that students, you know, came into. We have students who give childbirth and want to defer their enrollment to a different semester. Then there's also sometimes students in multiple programs as well, which is kind of another project that the admissions department is working on. There's a lot of variables in that. And so I think getting students to confirm their interest is going to be really helpful from us, just to really confirm kind of how many seats we should be planning for and advocating for future semesters, especially at all the regional campuses.
Is there any process in place for students to defer a semester if they wait, get to the front of the line and then like, just had a kid or just got married or whatever it is, went through a personal loss? Is there a process for not going back to the end of the line? Or
Bill, did you hear the question?
Yes, and students can defer. So I want to, let me not say the word defer. Students can be asked to be placed back on the waiting list. So we will put students back on the waiting list as long as they are intending, and as long as they're indicating they want to remain on that waiting list. I am careful with using the word defer just because we have to then select that student in that next semester. And so as we talk about these programs with academic preparedness requirements, students become core ready at different times. So if a student asks to be put back on the waiting list, what tends to happen then by that following year is we've just got a different population of core ready students. So we can't always guarantee a student who wants to be put back on the waiting list that they would receive a spot that next semester. But depending on that sorting and all of those pieces, we will put them back on that waiting list and allow them to then declare, currently petition, but declare during that next cycle.
okay.
And then I can answer a little bit too about kind of the why of the need for the confirmation. So the TCS10 guidance from WTCS does indicate that we're kind of required to check in with the students. So it talks about, anytime a student's on the waiting list, that we do need to check in with them and kind of confirm their interest to stay on that waiting list. The reason why we're doing that is, based off of Madison College removing the application fee for students. We do have students that apply that may indicate that they're interested and are placed on that waiting list that then do not move forward. And our current processes to discontinue students do not always catch these students because, as Kevin mentioned before, they may be in multiple programs. So maybe the student has applied to nursing, they're on the nursing waiting list, and they're actually active in the radiography program. They end up staying on that nursing waiting list because they're not picked up in our discontinuation process. So we're being more intentional with that process to say, we have you on the nursing waiting list. Can you please confirm that you're still interested in nursing? So that things like planning, like Kevin mentioned, can happen a little bit more with those students that, yes, they are still interested and engaged with this process.
We have time for one more question. What?
How will we go about preparing our advising team for, like, as you mentioned, like if someone is in at a point where they aren't able to have access to that like being core active, but they are core ready. And they're stuck because there's a wait list, so on and so forth. How are we going to make sure that our advising team understands, like are we going to have specialty advising teams? Because I've handled it in even just being the biotech department. No one knows what I'm talking about or what my prereqs are, depending on the courses I'm taking. So how are we going to better prepare our advisors to comply and to not only comply, but to really support our students here?
That's an awesome question. Thank you for asking that. And And you know, the truth is, so back in the day, we used to have a huge waiting list for the nursing programs. We've kind of been out of that for the last several years. Now we're really seeing a big uptick again, and we are preparing for this in a way that we haven't since COVID. We really haven't had this issue. And so we need to be prepared with equipping our advisors with giving them recommendations on courses to take while they may be in this waiting period. So that's an awesome suggestion. And that I will take that back, and we meet with the advising every month. And so we can certainly develop a list of courses that would be helpful for students to take if they may find themselves in that situation. Yeah, based on just, we have around 80% of our students end up transferring to get their bachelor's degree. And so we can look at where they're going to and what the academic requirements. And most of the time, it's really more gen eds that are needed for those students. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's gonna be,
I think we are at time. If you do have a question, you can put it in the chat, or if you send it to me, we can get it out to the proper people. Is that okay? Is that your Okay. Okay, awesome. All right, so with that, that is time. Thank you all so much for.
Thank you so much. I've dropped the presentation in the chat, and we are happy to answer follow-up questions as you send them to us. So have a great rest of your meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much. Have a great one. Thank
so
you.
much, Bill.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kevin.
Okay, and with that, now we will move on down to disclosures and recusals.
Can I do one thing quick? Can I say one thing?
Yep.
So in the future, learning moment for everybody, I will put any presentations that we get as well as contact information into the SharePoint. So if you go to the SharePoint, you go to today's thing, it'll have a section that says presentations. And then with that, also make sure if you want the contact information for Kevin, Amelia, Bill, whomever attended, we can get you that information if you want to send follow-up questions.
And then we'll provide before they present.
I'll try, otherwise it's after. So like, I'm gonna put all the stuff in here later on.
Nice. Thank you, Bill.
But yeah, I just want to put that up, so continue, I apologize.
Yeah, so, at this moment, we will open the floor for any disclosures and recusals. Okay, hearing none, then go ahead and move on to team building activity. Advisory Cole has something set up nice and right for us, so we'll go ahead and give them a report.
Perfect. So we're just going to be quick. If you want to give us one sentence liner as to why you made your decision, totally set. But would you rather go 5 years into the future, but know nothing about what happens in those 5 years, or go 5 years in the past and everything that's happened up to this point hasn't happened yet? So stuff can completely change. What would you rather do? So it's 5 years in the past, and from here to that 5 years, nothing in that point ever happened. So it's a blank slate. Or you're 5 years into the future and you have no idea what happens in that time frame. You kind of end up just having to handle it on the fly. Which one would you choose?
I have a qualifying question.
This is that formal. What's one qualifying question? I'll figure it out.
If we go into the past and we change things, are we gonna mess up the future?
That's entirely up to you.
Okay.
I'm just here to pose the question, not the limits.
If we go into the past, do we know what we know now still?
No, everything hasn't happened yet.
Are we
So you're
younger?
literally 5 years back. Like, I'm 31. I'm 26 again.
Okay.
I have no idea what happened from 26 to 31.
So you're not reliving.
You're reliving it, but
You
that's
don't know
a chance where stuff can completely change.
Oh,
I have a question. So if we go 5 years in the future, we don't know what happened those 5 years, but are we still like caught up with like any sort of like technology changes or anything? Or are we just like,
No,
no?
you're learning on the fly. That is it. So we'll go around. If you want to give a reason as to why, otherwise I just want to hear from people. If you want to go past or future, but they want to start. Online people will do you at the end, just so I can make sure I get all of you. So I just want to put that out there. In present, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I think I'd do 5 years in the past.
Okay.
Just because, that way I can relive everything and continue to just appreciate where I am now.
Very insightful. Someone's gonna go sideways with it, and I'm excited. That's a very insightful way. I like it. Thank you.
Sort of.
Which way do you want to go? You each pick the direction.
Oh my gosh, this way.
Andy.
Sorry, guys.
I got my answer. I'd say definitely 5 years in the past, just going 5 years in the future and then looking back, catching up on 5 years. Like imagine missing COVID.
starting in 2024, you missed it all of it. You don't understand the references, the shop, right? You don't understand anything. So
Yes.
5 years in the past, so you can understand what's going on in the
He's
present.
saying we're gonna have another COVID.
He's a time traveler. I appreciate that. Thank you. I can go formal here. Senator Crowder.
Oh, man. I don't know, this is a really hard question,
That's
but
why I thought of it.
I'm gonna go with the 5 years in the past too.
Okay, no one's taking future yet. I like this.
Yeah.
I'll go at the end. Senator Sundar.
I will go 5 year past as well.
Okay.
Maybe 5 years later, it's gonna be World War III and there's no world, so
Okay.
10 more years being alive, it's gonna be great. for
Like I
me.
said, we went wholesome and now we're going sideways. I like this. Thank you. I appreciate that. Senator
I'll
Jagadish.
also do the same. I'd go 5 years in the past, you know, you go back, as Sandra Ashley said, you go through all the experiences again.
Sure.
Really?
I like it. BP Burke.
Past, like writing as a historian, I just like writing history, African American history.
Nice. BP Nichols.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the past. I feel like if you go 5 years in the future and you just don't know anything for 5 years, that's gonna like mess with you mentally. Just have a 5 year gap in your like whole memory.
Sure.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Alright, so if you go in the future, do you stay on the same route that you're on now?
No, because you don't know what that route is.
So you just literally skip forward and
You
are
skip
now
forward 5
5
years.
years older. You
So
live
that's,
5 years.
so
of your
that's the
life.
big thing we're thinking, you're right, is that uncertainty. Because if you go 5 years in the past, like what he said, you can maybe remember where you were 5 years ago roughly, but you're not gonna remember every step you took that would get you to this point. So you definitely have some changes in your life of how it would go. If you go 5 years in the future, it's the same thing, but at least at that point, you're learning what has already happened. So you're not as, I guess, how I'm gonna put it, there's not as much massive change that could happen that you would instrumentally be able to impact. It's more of the environment around you updates. And depending how you feel about it, right? This is the psychology behind it. It could be 5 years in the future, we could be in World War III. We also could be at the point where AI is really taking over everything. Or it could be 5 years in Madison, it still looks like Madison College. We're just chilling. So,
It's gonna be like a movie controller, you know?
it's like from, what is that, Adam Sandler movie?
Yes,
Click.
it is gonna
Click.
be.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So like, I think I'd try the future.
You tried, all right.
If I stay, yeah, like if I'm on my route right now and I were to fast forward it, I think I'd just be further along where I'm already headed.
Sure.
I don't think my path would really change.
All right.
It would just advance.
I like that. You have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask real quick, is it like 5 years, like I wake up my bed, it's like 5 years later, or like I'm gonna be sitting in this chair and 5 years have passed, I have no reason why I'm here.
No, you're probably gonna go back to wherever you were in this state 5 years ago, probably.
Okay.
That'd be my guess. Because I didn't know Madison College really existed until like a year ago. I worked at UWC for good man. I can tell you what those schools are.
I got some more.
President Villarreal.
Yeah, 5 years in the future.
All right.
I want to see what happens. I want to, you know, down for the ride, so.
Oh, really?
VP Matson.
Yeah.
So like zooming out, either I skip a little part of my life or a little part I do twice over. I'd rather do it twice over. So I'd go to the past.
I like it. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, Senator Herzl.
I feel like I would definitely do like the future.
Sure.
I don't think I would end up being with my, you know, my husband,
Sure.
the job that I have right now, be in this chair. Like, I don't think with where I was at 5 years ago,
Sure.
there has been a lot of circumnavigating that I've had to do.
Sure.
So I don't want to redo it.
That's a very philosophical view. I like this. What's up?
I think I want to change. I want to go future.
We're changing lives. I like this.
I want to go after the next election, I think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, we'll go to folks online. Angel, we'll start with you because I already see what you put in there. So go to the future, to adapt on the go. Task build confidence, conscience, and character. I like it. All right. Next, we'll go to. Oh, everybody?
Everybody.
We gotta get the people online quick. Senator Batuga.
I think I would go to the past I don't really have a reason.
That's okay. Appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Senator Sharafadine. Ayman, are you there?
I have question. I have question. Like,
All
if
right,
you
what's
go
the
to the
question?
future, will you start there in the future, or you will just like, how's that work? Like,
Say that one more time.
I said, like, if you go on the future, will you stay on the future, or you will be back and you forgot everything that you did in the future?
No, once you're in the future, you're in the future. There's no coming back.
Okay, then I'll go on the future.
All right. I would go to the dark side. I like this. Senator Sullivan Richards.
Let's see. I would 100% go 5 years into the past. So probably so I could redo some of the poor decisions I guess I've made in my life and visit some of the relatives that I've lost in the last 5 years. I guess I acknowledge that some of my decisions have made me into the person who I am today, but if I still had the chance, I'd probably go back and redo them. So.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Ada. So they were there. So I'm going to introduce them. They were not here at the last meeting. So online right now, if you see, is Ada Wilmo. She is our other alternate for Senate. So you met Bethany last week. Bethany is currently handling a personal matter. So Ada is currently online. Ada, if you'd like to participate, you definitely can. If not, not a problem, but I want to give you that opportunity and if you want to introduce yourself. All right, we'll move on. If you do want to, just let me know, but we'll move on. So the next person I see is Senator LaRiva.
I would say that I would go to the future though, 100%. I don't want to go back to the past and do the same mistakes I made though. Always, I think it's grow, like learn and like overstep for the next team.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I think the last person we have online is Senator McCrae.
Hey everybody, I would definitely go in the future because I work a lot with AI and I don't think it's as scary as y'all think. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't think it's as scary as y'all think, but at the same time, I want to go back in the past because I don't want to miss 5 years of my son's life. So I'm on the fence.
Go to the past, you still get the future.
Sure enough. Well, it depends. That also like kind of like how it goes, right? So as I pulled this out, so I would also take the future only because 5 years in the past, I wouldn't have either of my kids yet. So I wonder if something might change in which I don't. So I would take 5 years in the future just because there's always that uncertainty, but at least it's 5 years that are there. You lose out on certain things, but yeah, it's one of those.
You don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, or like there's some changes because my oldest was born 3 weeks before they shut down the world. Or like you had to like, if we had him 3 weeks later, my wife would have been in labor by herself. I wouldn't have been allowed to be there.
But you're not going back with any of your present knowledge.
That's okay.
So everything in the past is exactly as it was, and therefore I would assume would play out exactly as it did.
You would assume. That's the fun part, right? Like that's the interesting part. I don't know, maybe I wouldn't say higher.
Take that chance.
Yeah.
All right,
We'll
well,
take
that's
to end up back here with you all. We'll see.
very often team building exercise. Thank you, Advisor Cole. In the future, you'll be suggesting some team building exercises and something along that line. At the same time period. We're gonna move on now to reports of officers, advisors, and standing committees. And I'll start off with the Executive Council and President report. Yesterday, we went to District Board. It was in Portage, the Madison Campus Regional location that it's once a year.
Yeah, so they try to go to the regionals once or twice a year and hit all of them. So I think this time they're doing Northern, so they did Portage, and I think they're gonna do Reedsburg next.
Yep, it was informative report that I gave. I told them about our last meeting, how we were working on the training. Told them about our alternate positions, told them how the training was going for us. I gave a little recap of what it is that we're gonna be working on the next couple meetings. Now we will move on to administrative.
One thing, question.
Oh, questions about my report? Open up the floor for questions. No, okay, anything online?
Nope.
All right, so now we will move on to Administrative and Finance Committee. VP Mattson, what is your report?
So Finance Committee is not yet meeting, so I have no report from the meeting, although a few people have already expressed interest in being on Finance Committee. And if you have some interest in that, or you just want to know about what we'll be doing during fall semester, feel free to reach out to me with questions or interests. And I've also been on my own front, on the administration side, I've been in communication with Cole about finding a more streamlined way to put in your office hours for this coming semester when we begin doing that. So hopefully things will be chugging along smooth when come fall.
Nice. And just for the record, that is a report, so I would
We'll make do it. Yeah.
yeah, we'll make do, we'll put that down as a report. So
Yeah, that's fine. It'll
Yeah,
go
the
in the
report from the
minutes. We'll be set,
let's say.
Yeah, no, we're set. That's fine.
And now we want to Legislative Affairs and Committee.
Hold on. Questions.
Questions.
Yeah, I remember questions everyone. Feeling good.
Everybody's
Open up the floor to questions, anybody? For VP Mattson? Online, any?
Oh, you're good.
Okay, we're gonna move on. The Legislative Affairs Committee, VP Burke.
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know that Public Safety Advisory Committee has a new promo. That if you see something, say something is the message being sent here. There's several helpful hints and tips on that. We have that uploaded with Clarion Radio right now. Also, I'm uploading that for my show. I would encourage y'all to consider coming on Clarion Radio. Matter of fact, if you want to talk on my show, I'll give you a little spot. I'll represent our student senate during the 64th term. Also for transfer success, please consider the mindfulness classes. They're very helpful as far as keeping yourself in the moment, studying and getting, becoming more of a success. This is a part of my honors research. And also, when you're feeling stressed, just know that Better Mind is on campus. Let's keep an eye on one another, please. And if you feel uncomfortable, reach out to public safety. That goes for in the classroom, outside the classroom. That service is available to all of you. Also, my show is on Fridays from 5 to 8 p.m. It's about the student veteran experience and my experience with using the Wisconsin GI Bill here at Madison College, transferring to UW-Whitewater and then coming back, being post-bac for a paralegal, and offering people what the qualifiers are for the Wisconsin GI Bill. Thank you. That's all I got.
All right. Like it. I would like to open up the floor for questions. I have a couple, but if there's anybody else who wants to jump in online. All right. All right. So this show.
That's it, sir.
Would it be possible to get the whole Senate in one little?
Oh, yeah, we can do promos.
Okay.
Make your own promo. Throw it in there. I got 3 hours. It's Fridays from
Okay.
5 to 8. www.clearingradio.com. This show is like what I'm doing is called STEM communication. We have science communication here at Madison College, and I'm creating the first ever audio flashback in the moment where that memory, that intrusive memory comes over the veteran according to my research and how that person navigated their way out. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it'd be great to show support.
Does anybody have any questions that?
Yeah, go ahead.
The mindful courses that you mentioned?
Yes.
Do you know where they're located? Are you talking about
Yes,
the mind and
I'm-
body courses?
I'm one of the recipients of the Building Blocks of Well-Being course. This started back roughly around the pandemic while we were coming out of the pandemic. The Center for Entrepreneurship started investing in a lot of mindfulness courses. And what it is, it's basically a 9-credit class. I think the 3 that I took were workshops with mindfulness journaling. One of them was Mindset for Success. And the other one was basically teaching you how to manage your schedule and your energy every day. And these 3 classes have helped me succeed, go on to get perfect honors at Whitewater. Yeah, definitely. If you want to talk more after the meeting, let's talk.
I'm going to move online to Senator Sullivan, and I'm going to read out his question. Just out of curiosity, referring to the statement, if you see something, say something. What does that pertain to specifically? Kind of a dumb nuanced question, but I'm just wondering if there's any particular goal in echoing that statement.
Right now, what we're trying to do is get everything up on Wolfpack Connect on the Public Safety Advisory Committee, which I'm also serving on that panel. basically what it is if you see something suspicious, somebody sets a bag down, right? Somebody puts something out of place, go to public safety. If somebody is harassing you on campus, go to public safety. If somebody is harassing you online, let public safety know. But most of all, if you feel uncomfortable, if you are uncomfortable, you can make a statement with public safety. Public safety will then address the issue, and we turn everything over to public safety. That's the most important part. This is all a part of the Department of Homeland Security's campaign to keep our community safe.
Senator Sertzel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I just have a quick question. So how does public safety tackle like, avoiding like retaliation?
Oh, that would just very, very simply, they have the supports in place.
Okay.
And so, you know, obviously, they're the ones that would be the expert. But by making a statement, by coming forward, by saying something, you're doing something. So just report to the office downstairs or use the emergency numbers that are on campus. So yes, retaliation is something that they would consider investigating. Yeah.
So one thing I can add to you on that, in working previously with a university police department, they'll do their best to uphold any type of confidentiality.
Yes.
In any situation, there really is no anonymity. But if you approach public safety and say, this happened to me, I would really like to make sure that the student doesn't know that it's me, but here's what's going on. I'd really like it addressed in some capacity. And normally in those situations, what they do is they address the behavior. This is reported to us. We ask that you stop, and it really ends there. Nobody gives out your information. And in all my time working in conduct, you're always gonna have a situation where someone's gonna be like, who said that about me? And they'll point fingers at everybody, but it's literally towards everybody. So if you are fearful of retaliation, again, that's exactly what Brad said.
Do not
public safety
take
know.
matters in your own hands. Just pass it off to public
Yeah,
safety.
they'll assist you in that. That's a good question. That's the number one thing you'll always learn is we can try and uphold professional confidentiality, but there really is almost no anonymity outside of very specific circumstances, and we're talking about that. So, that's a good question.
I will remind everybody that there is a code of conduct for students and professors. So Madison College has a code of conduct. Keep that in mind.
So I think we're at time.
We are at time.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
We will move on now to Team Development Committee. VP Turner, what you got for us?
First.
Your report.
What do I do?
What do you do? You just told me. Just go
Oh,
ahead and tell us.
okay. Well, first, do you guys prefer cookies or donuts? Cause I like to bring them.
Okay, so,
Either
you
way.
can-
I like donuts.
Okay, raise your hand if you like donuts.
Only.
You said donuts?
I do not like donuts.
You got it. You
I
got it.
I'm sitting here repping the VP.
I brought donuts today, if anyone wants some.
I think we're down the middle. Donut.
Alright, cool.
Diversity of opinions here.
I was thinking moving forward, like, maybe like, I'm big on like icebreakers and breaking down the walls so we can just get to know each other better. So I was like, thinking like, what's something embarrassing that happened? Cause getting that out the way, then it'll open it up for fun. And then also like, have you guys heard of like the props game where like you bring in like a pool noodle and you can make it into a mustache or something like that? Would you guys like to do stuff like that?
I'll do anything you
We'll
bring.
try
to
it.
the
Yeah,
table.
you're just playing whatever you want.
Let's start with the icebreaker, then we'll see where.
And then,
You're a
I'd like
secret
to-
Tell me yours.
I would like to also open the door, like, if like you guys are like experiencing different things at work and you need some advice on it, I'm also here for that as well. And, as a team, we can work good together and, help you guys successfully, like, move forward in a positive way.
Yeah, so, usually we would open it up for questions, but I think we kind of just had a Q&A session there to report. The advisory board here for the chat.
Yep.
Then we're gonna move on up to advisory report for
Nope. Public relations.
public relations. Oh, yeah, we have one more there. Public relations committee, VP Nichols.
Yeah, so sort of, VP Madison also said this, but, if you're interested in, public relations or what it does, let me know. I definitely want to try to make a public relations committee as diverse as possible, simply because this is a very diverse campus and I don't have everyone's experience. So I want to make sure that I have people working with me that have had those experiences, so we know how to reach out to those people.
Open the floor up to questions. I have a couple if nobody online does.
Good.
Yeah, how would you want to do that?
Yeah, so obviously, I know Cole's gonna have his sort of like survey sent out soon enough here, about like what everyone's interested in. But if you say, you've had a lived experience that other people here have had, or you sort of obviously say you're some sort of minority, you're a woman, just something like that, some sort of experience that is a part of MATC and that other people here have, that, you feel it's important that that group is represented and that group is reached out to, please join the committee, or at least let me know or give me insight so that we know how to, or so that as a committee, I'm able to talk to them and we're able to make sure that they feel as involved as everyone else. That's a big goal of mine this sort of year, is to try to build a sort of sense of community here and build involvement. And obviously, like I said, this is a very diverse community. I know in one of my classes just last year, there was 4 different international students, all from a different country, all had different experiences, all needed different things, all wanted different things, right? And so making sure that everyone from every background feels included and feels like they have a voice is important.
I like that. Would I suggest that you get together with your VP Legislative Affairs to sit into the right of you and maybe see if you get an ad going, or just there's something
Yeah,
that you
for
guys can
sure.
co-work together to fill that up? I'd really like to do that.
Wow,
All right.
we're gonna be strong this year.
Are you ready for your report?
Am I ready for it? Yeah, so things just for you all to know. 1, please continue to complete the Senate trainings. If you've noticed, I release them after every Senate meeting, and then you have the duration of that time to complete that one module. Why are you smiling at me? I'll check your progress. That's what this is about. I mean,
I'm smiling because I'm proud of my progress.
Proud of you too. Do note that after June 19th, which is our next Senate meeting, you will have 2 modules to complete. And that's because we're gonna go almost a month without meeting, because our next meeting would technically fall on the 4th of July. And so as many of us probably are doing stuff, also campus isn't open.
It's a recognized national holiday.
That, and I'm not gonna be, so you know what? That too. So please complete the trainings that are due before the next GA meeting. You will get emails from me. I will be sending more frequent emails once we get into July, because I'll be honest with you, you do not get your stipend unless they're completed. And to my folks that are paid hourly, I will withhold hours. I'm telling you all that. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not even trying to be threatening, like, this training is an important part of it. The other part is give me your feedback. I need your feedback on it, because for the executives, I created your trainings from scratch. We've never had it before. So I want to make them better. So you all complete the rest of the trainings. What?
I think you can tell.
Because of how good they are.
To the rest of y'all, let me know how the general trainings are going. A lot of those kind of are the same. I've tried making some changes. There's some stuff I don't like, but also I had a short time to do this because we're using break space now. My last 2 things is, 1, if you're getting notifications to complete the president training and stuff, I'm trying to find a way to circumvent that. So the only person that has to do that is the president. We think we figured out a way with Jose, so nobody should be able to see Jose's anymore besides Jose.
You don't want to do it.
Yes, if you do see it, it means I just messed something up, and Jose's my guinea pig, so I will figure that out. The second thing is that office hours. Again, I'm just going to reiterate this. I'm not tracking anything with office hours right now. Yeah, the only people I'm tracking hours for are Jose and Quinn, because they're paid hourly. For the rest of y'all, I'm not worried about it, because we really do have to figure out a process to make it more streamlined. The process last year was not bad, but it was really complex, in my opinion. And we ran into a lot of headaches with it, and we just want to make it simpler. Once that's set and good to go, we're there. I'm pretty sure in this next module, it'll talk to you about doing office hours. Our former president Kai will have a video on that. Still watch it all, take it all in. There will be no spreadsheet available though until we figure that out.
And then specifically for the returning senators, if they have some valuable feedback for Advisor Cole when it comes to developing the office hour mechanism to.
Yeah, you let me know.
I think you guys will have some of the best feedback that you've dealt with.
Yep, totally set.
Last semester.
Definitely think it's better having it on Monday than on Sunday.
Yeah, it's never gonna be doing a weekend.
We're gonna change it.
I also don't care.
Thank you, Advisor Cole. Can I look forward to questions if anybody has any?
Yeah, go ahead, we'll go on questions, go quick first.
You said,
What
you
I
said,
Tell me what
the
it is.
modules are hours right now, as in an hourly position.
Yes, so the time you spend on that technically would count towards your 5 hours. Just like once we open up office hours for all of y'all that are still doing training, the time you spend on that training does count for your office hours. So general senators, you just have to do 2 hours. If the training does take you 2 hours, including your discussion post, if that's required within it, there's your 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll get to that too more for the general senators.
Sure.
Should we be tracking our time spent?
Why don't we start next week?
Okay.
Because I just figured out everything now.
Okay.
And I feel like it's gonna be a massive like headache to be like, did we do this? Did we do this? We did spend a lot of our budget though. I'm actually pretty proud of that. We have like $400 left. It's a good time. Any other questions for me? Senator Searle?
Underneath the general overview.
Sure.
Like in lesson 2.
Sure.
3-year plan, is it supposed to be completely blank?
Well, let me look.
Would you snip that and send that to Advisor Cole?
Well, I'm on it right now.
Yeah,
Oh, I had some.
it's under lesson 2.
Yep, it's the very end.
Yeah. It's past Senator's toolbox, but it is completely blank.
3-year plan, let's review the 3-year plan. Yeah, I just got to pop up. Let's see what you're looking at. You scared me for a second, I'm not gonna lie. No, you're good. So, no, you're good. So we'll go lesson 2, 3-year plan. Not to look up. Interesting.
It says 100%.
Yeah, well,
It's nice, but I
Something that's.
let me look quick.
also.
Here's a blank too. Did it not release it? Is that what I'm hearing? That's invisible. Invisible, invisible.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm.
All right.
It's in the SharePoint.
All right, check it again real quick. I made it not visible and then visible again. There now?
Not by the training, no, but, just, referring to what Senator Andy told me, we have access to it on SharePoint, correct?
Correct. It's just weird that you wouldn't. What is going on with that? Sure. All right, I'll figure it out later. We're going way over time.
No,
All
you're
right,
good.
no, I'll figure it out. All right, any other questions for me?
Anything online? Hearing none, seeing none?
I have one question, Cole. One question, Cole.
What's up?
Are you specifically having a problem with Brightspace? Or is it specifically the setting up or the permissions?
It's big, no, it's the 3-year plan module under training 2, because on my end, it's 100% visible. And it says that everybody should be able to see it. So that's what I'm kind of lost on is, Senator Searcher just showed me, see everything else.
All right,
Not this.
I'll talk to whoever built it, because yeah, she was my instructor.
Built,
so.
who built this? You said
No,
you built, like, the program?
Built Brightspace. Yeah.
Okay.
She was the
I was
pilot.
gonna say, 'cause
Yeah.
I built it.
No,
It's all
no,
good.
no. I know you built that. I'm not gonna take credit for your work, bud. All right.
Cool, thank you. In the meantime, as we continue on, I'll put the 3-year plan in the chat, so if you do want to review it.
Yeah, and they also access 3-year plan through the website and also from SharePoint, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you, Advisor Cole, for the report. We're gonna move on down to reports of special and select committees. And I'll start it off with Student Activity Board. We will meet in June. It is gonna be an online meeting. No, that's not gonna be the online meeting. That one's gonna be the co-chair. Is that one the online meeting, Advisor Cole?
It hasn't been figured out yet, but there will be a meeting.
TBD, so there will be a meeting in June. And, any questions on student activity board? Is everybody up to date on student activity board?
We'll talk about it more as we get closer to the beginning of the school year.
Just,
So don't worry about it now.
So we'll move on now to textbook affordability committee, and that is vacant. So we're gonna scroll on down to student parent support group. That is vacant, but we're gonna entertain a report from Senator Crowder if she wishes to. I know she works,
I have no report because we are no longer meeting. Just waiting to hear back from, I think, College Assembly.
Yep.
So, about the policy, so.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. We're gonna move down to inclusion and belonging coordinator, and that is also vacant. So let's keep trucking along to reports from regional and metro campuses, Reedsburg, Senator Sindar.
No report for this week.
Okay. Watertown campus is vacant, so we're gonna move on down to Portage campus, Senator McRae. Hey, John, you got a report for us?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Fort Atkinson is also vacant, and Goodman South, Senator Lariba.
Yes.
You got a report for us, bud?
Yes, I do just a little bit. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that much, but what I have so far is report for two things, which is the metro and regional campuses. So as we know, in 2023, 2024, the academic year, we're just talking about the students. It were 20,000 students across all campuses, but more specifically in the Goodman South campuses alone, we're like around like 2,700 students, showing just like important the space for our community. So in this, I also was talking about like how parents or single parents, how they had their children's, and one of the major discussion that we did, it was the initiative that we're proud of, is like the early learning campus. As we know, we have one and right now in the Truex, but I think we're gonna try to do one in the Goodman South, but it's nearly open until next year, like 2026. And when I was talking with the early learning campus, um, how's it called? I sent an email the other day, and they were saying they were just trying to figure out the details of how much people were gonna have, how many children. It was around like 86, between like 6 week, between the ages 6 to 5 years, for children and students for that campus. I don't know where specifically do you wanna like place that building. I know like the one specifically will be like better for us. It will be the fire department who is next to us. But besides that, nothing else with it. On the other side, maybe we also talk about the community events in the hostel there's going to be this year's, and also the enrollment programs. Um, Also, yeah, I think that's the only information that I have so far.
Thank you, Joaquin. That was a very extensive and a very informative report. I would advise you to connect with Senator Crowder if she's not too busy. There might be places where she can really assist you. And it'd be nice to see you guys work together on. I'll open up the floor for discussion. Seeing none, any online? Seeing none online. Thank you for that report. I'm going to move on now down to reports from College Assembly and Shared Governance. College Assembly will meet next Wednesday. I will be attending that. Academic Council. Vacant. Well, any discussion?
For academics, so once you move on down to, I think FPIC is next, right?
Well, can I ask you a question quick?
Yeah.
Can we get a list of dates and times, that different committees are meeting during the summer, especially for shared governance, so that the senators, if possible, can jump on and just listen and see if they're interested in the various councils?
We can try.
Yeah.
I know that a good chunk of them are not,
Okay.
or they're meeting once. So like I can give you student affairs.
Whoever is available.
Yeah, I can
This
do
might
so,
be
but we are trying to start grabbing the rough dates for the fall.
So it's still fluid right now, but as the dates come out, I advise you calling and myself, we would do our
Yeah.
best to get it
We'll
out.
get something creative for you.
Yeah, I was just hoping if there were any meetings that we could jump on during the summer, like if I wanted to switch to FPIC and go see what college assembly does.
Well, and you can. So if you'd like to attend college assembly, let me know. I'll get you access to it.
Okay.
Because anybody can attend. Send me an email
Yeah.
or shoot me a team message, but anybody can technically attend. You just can't vote and you can't speak.
And those will count as office hours, correct? They attend?
Yes, if they're choosing to attend, yes. Go ahead, Matt.
Each of these councils will have a student senate liaison who's a non-voting member.
Nope, they'll be voting.
They'll be voting.
So so the beautiful thing about shared governance is that we are reserved a seat on every single one of them, including 2 on college assembly, because technically Jose has to attend college assembly. And then we will have you're not a chair. I thought Kyle was at first. He tricked me on that. So Jose is required to attend because they do give a student senate report, but we also have a second representative there that is a voting member. So every single shared governance that you see there, we'll talk about this more in July. You are an active member. You are also paid additional to be on there. But you will vote, you will make decisions. That is why when you hear me talk, probably get my soapbox probably in like September of, if you choose to be on shared governance, you will not miss meetings.
Yep.
Because you're paying to be there, and that is legitimately where you start with making a difference and making change for students. That's a lot of where it wasn't necessarily within the shared governance, but student parent support, like those committees and those groups came about from the push for that with the grant money. And now that's all the way up at the president's level to make the approval of the policy. You legitimately make change there, but you have to be present. We've had in the past where people don't go, and it bothers me so much.
If you have any questions on the experience or what's expected of you, Senator Crowder, I hope I'm not
No,
throwing
you're
too much
fine.
at you.
I just want to say
Reach out.
something quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like you have the opportunity to build important relationships that don't just help you right now at Madison College, but will help you later on.
Yeah.
I feel like, yesterday when I was at the meeting, I went there for something other than Senate, which I will probably bring the Senate at some point too. But for me, it's hard to talk in front of a bunch of people I don't know, especially about something that, affects me personally. But I did it because I felt more comfortable in that room since I knew a bunch of the people in the room. And then just at the close of the meeting, it was just nice to be able to feel acknowledged and to, feel like I wasn't an enemy of the state or something. Do you know what I mean? When you're saying something is not great and could you please improve it?
I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
I was happy to be there to support you.
Thank you.
All right. We are, one member.
You have a question?
Senator Paul?
I do have a quick question.
Go ahead.
So the EPIC meeting for tomorrow, is
Yep.
that tomorrow? Does anyone have other access to show up?
Yeah, anyone can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. At any of the meetings. They have public comment, but anyone can show up.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds good.
If you want to go for it, I would offer student affairs council, but we're doing subcommittee meetings. Don't ask me what that means. I just know that I volunteered to be on it. I'll let you know in 2 weeks how that goes.
All right. Will that be tied into your advisory report?
Maybe, we'll
All
see.
right.
We'll see. But yes, definitely if you want to attend next Wednesday, let me know. College assembly is a good time to hear from stuff, and they'll be talking about a couple of policies that the president has recently approved.
And if we have anything else, reach out to Senator Crowder. We're going to move on now to Finance Council, which is vacant. So that'll bring us to Information Technology Council. Senator Avila, if you can, give us a brief little report. You got one?
We put it in the
Okay,
chat.
put it in the
No
chat.
report.
Go ahead. No report. IT Council will present presently on the next meeting. Thank you very much. Student Affairs Council, that is also vacant. We're going to come to the point where we have unfinished business, anything we did not complete from the last meeting, and I'm pretty sure there was nothing there besides the training that we expect you guys to talk about after the meeting. So non-business housekeeping announcements. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, June
What about my,
19th.
what about my business?
Yeah, you get a report, man.
No, I just need 5 minutes for new business.
Yep.
Alrighty, so, upcoming events and orientation. Truth be told, I was new last summer, so I did not know anything that was going on. And now I'm trying to get ahead of it because we have some upcoming opportunities that we can either present at, be involved at, or overall just be able to have the student voice be heard. And I'm first going to start with our orientation. How many of y'all attended the in-person orientation at Madison College at some point? They're held in the summer, almost always in August. Yeah, kind of. Okay.
That's where we met.
Not a problem. I'm gonna pull up something here just so that I can show.
So long ago, didn't it?
Right. So the reason that I bring up the orientation is that, part of my role as a student program advisor, that is my legitimate working title, is that, hopefully y'all can see that. I help facilitate all the orientation program alongside Director of Student Life, Ellie Rome. I'm also the sole person that's supervising the orientation leaders, which if you attended orientation, hopefully you had a positive experience with somebody in a blue shirt that was trying to get you to interact and have a good time, right? Quinn's questioning it. So I wasn't in charge of yours, so I'm. So the reason I bring this up is because we always have Senate representation at the involvement fair. Anytime there's an involvement fair or for us to be tabling, we got to do it. Now, I'm telling you this now because I'm going to coordinate the bulk of this. In the future, it'll be between VP Turner and VP Nichols will be the ones. I'll get them the information and they'll be reaching out to y'all to go ahead and table or participate in these events. I bring up these dates here, which you all will get more information on these later on, because these are our orientation dates for this year. There's one additional date at Goodman South. I haven't confirmed if there's an involvement fair or resource fair there yet. If there isn't, I don't need anybody there. But specifically for any of the longer dates, so you see August 5th, August 12th, August 28th, there might be a couple others sprinkled into there. Any of them are like 3 hours long. We have a involvement fair that takes place that hits about 110 students. We gather a lot of interest from students at that point. We have marketing material from students. So I really want to put that on your radar now that when I get this information out, I'm going to ask, can I have 2 people who can be here for this time? If you can give those hours, do so. Once we start tracking office hours, 100% count for your office hours. And you'll get probably the full 2 hours, if I'm going to be honest, in a system. So I really, really want to push that here, especially for orientations. If I'm like, hey, we need people to staff these tables, if you can give the time, I ask that you please do so. I'll give you everything. I'll get you all the marketing material. You just got to be smiling, shaking hands, and saying, welcome to Madison College. That's all I need you to do. So, saying that now, you have a question?
Yeah, what's expected of them? There's going to be QR codes, going to be some pamphlets.
I'll cover that. I'll get that to folks once if they commit to it or not, but it might change a bit too, because I might be able to get some additional marketing stuff, but that is correct. It's mainly just, here's the information, check it out, join our listserv, check the QR code, join Wolfpack, connect with websites
to Advisor Cole
and direct questions to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, so understanding that these are dates that are required for like our attendance, or at least on the sheet it said that.
Don't take that fully. This is for people who applied for a job.
Okay.
But these are just the dates that I have.
Okay.
Damn, boy, you're exposing me.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
No, you're fine.
That just one day out of all of them, I wasn't able to.
No, that's fine. So this is actually the application if you want to apply to become an orientation leader and get paid for it. Is the only place I know I have the dates readily available. But for those dates, for the 5th, the 12th, and the 28th, I will 100% be asking you all. I need 2 people here. If you can be here, please. It just helps us on out. Learning to learn, which is like what do you call that? It's a variety of things, right? It's like all the kind of getting ready for school and stuff like that, all that prep, right?
Yeah.
We have the ability to also participate in a couple of things there. Not as your Senate president, but as Jose is our WTCS ambassador. Jose will actually be speaking at one of the events to the students within the program. Well, he's going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. But with that, if we have more come up, especially if you have ties to that, if you went through Learning to Learn, we'd love for you to be involved in that as well. We have been in the past, it's kind of morphed recently, but I think we saw the opportunity, at least at like maybe that last day, to have someone from Senate go in and just be like, going through this process before, here's who I am now. If you have any questions, reach out. If you want to get involved, come talk with us at Senate and stuff like that. My last big thing is that we will have events throughout the year. We have 2 town halls that we host. Those are kind of an undertaking, as well as just a variety of other type of small events that take place, as well as if you're involved in certain clubs, we need to have representation at them. And I'm going to go on record, even though we're being recorded. If this year we focus on really getting connected with our community, reaching out to clubs, really having that social presence on this campus or at any of the campuses, it's a win. I don't care how much legislation we pass, truthfully. We passed a lot last year. I think we made some good headway, but we didn't have that social connection on campus. We just didn't. So if we focus on that this year, y'all 100% winners, support that. I really want us to be out there connecting with folks. And so that's why I'm trying to push this now with the understanding when events come up. And if it's important enough that you're getting an email from me or Jose saying, hey, we really want folks to be here, honestly, for many of you, consider it.
Please, thank you. And keep in mind, we do want to reach out to regional campuses more also. Our 3-year plan, that's going to be part of what we want to move along with.
It's a great way to get your hours in.
For sure. And I will tell you, probably in, can't say for sure if it's in July, potentially in September, we're going to try and do a day of going to the northern campuses and a day of going to the eastern campuses. So for the northern, we'll rent a vehicle, we'll go to Portage, we'll go to Reedsburg and check out the campuses and have some type of presence there. And then one day we'll do Watertown and Fort Atkinson. Watertown, Fort Atkinson, we'll have to coordinate a little bit because I live in Fort, so I'll be honest, I would like to just drive to Watertown. So it's shorter than driving here. But we will have presence out there. And for Watertown and Fort, we do not have Senate representatives. That's a great time for us to try and connect with folks and be like, hey, come check this out. Watertown might change. We had somebody who is in the pipeline. Don't know where they're at this point, but also what you'll come to learn is that specific programs are offered at specific campuses, and the nursing program is very tumultuous. And that's unfortunately why we tend to lose a lot of people at Watertown, because it is only nursing minus some smaller genetic courses.
Anything else?
Any other questions for me? Any questions online?
Seems like a pretty hard job. Well, I was totally understanding the impression that all senators are required to do that. Thanks for the clarification from Senator Richards. So I think that wraps it up.
All right, so then my last thing is that for the time that we aren't in session from end of June to middle of July, please take time for yourselves. That's my big thing. Take time to enjoy. Y'all are still having a summer. You're not like me. I'm here 40 hours a week. But no, realistically, enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Take in stuff. And y'all have already done a really good job with this, and I want to continue. If y'all want to continue to reach out and support one another, if you have questions about the training, you want to work together, please do so. It's a great time. I'm used to working with 18 to 22-year-olds that live in a residence hall, so they make friends really quickly. And you see that go, and that really does make my job really positive. Not saying it's not here, but I've never worked with tech college students before, so I know that might not be second nature. I really push for it though, because that cohesiveness is super huge.
And you're looking for somebody with a lot of experience. This will be the 3rd time, but my last time, Senator Crowder. Just please, she's very wise. She has done legislative work and she's very effective.
Teams me over emailing me. I don't always check my email.
Very, very, very busy woman, but she makes time to really.
I'll also throw my phone number in the chat too, because I don't care. If you annoy me, I will block you. But just say who you are. Like, hey, Senator Blake. Yeah, I was gonna, I don't remember if I sent this out to everybody or not, but Juneteenth Day event is coming up at,
yes.
Did I send that out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to encourage people to attend. It's open to everyone. It's a good way to, Senate, we've gone together a few times, wearing our t-shirts, but you're also gonna get a t-shirt here. And I know that I can't make it because I have a kid getting married that day. So I used to be able to go represent. 2 kids getting married this summer, a month apart.
Yeah, Senator Crowder, and hopefully somebody can make it. Nobody can make it. I'll make it a point to get there. Oh, apologize. Take that back. June 19th. Do that before, yeah, I'll be here, right? We'll be here.
Yeah, you said you leave on like the 25th or 6th.
It's the
25th.
21st is the day of it.
Okay,
You're still here.
I'm still here. I'll be in France this summer, so I'll
Take
see what I can do before I leave.
That's unfortunate.
You don't miss out on that.
But if I
Always
call,
stuff
I'll always be available. Any questions? So if you do send an email to me, it will be responded at a very weird time. Just keep a note that it's from 7.5+ hours ahead.
Wow.
Peace, everybody.
Oh, and there's a sign up too in there so that you can get a T-shirt the Juneteenth day that Jimmy or Dr. Chevron, I should call him his name. I'm going down to the bottom. If you look at the very bottom of that too, those are people within the, what is it, Culture and Climate Department. Rhoda is the advisor for BSU. Katie is the advisor for NASA, the Native American Student Association. Angela is the advisor for the ASA. So just so you know.
Did you have a question, Senator?
Yeah, so this specific parade that we're discussing is only on MATC, like MATC campus?
No,
This is not the
it's-
Jeff, like the Fisher Street parade, correct?
This one
That
should
is
be the
being held on
Fisher Street
Juneteenth?
Parade unless they've changed it. I didn't read the email, I'll be honest with you, but usually it's over at Park Street. 'Cause as soon as I saw the date, I'm like, oh, I can't go.
Yeah.
But, I'm pretty sure it's the parade over on Park Street and they're gonna have tons of food out there.
Okay.
Last year they had a pickleball tournament and a
Uh-huh.
bunch of Madison College, staff were involved in it, so it was hilarious to watch. Notice I didn't say I got involved in it, I know better.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make a point because some of us work on weekends.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So the 21st won't really work, but there is another Juneteenth parade being held, and it is specifically the Fisher Street Juneteenth parade, which is also sponsored on the visitmadison.com website.
Nice.
So, if you're interested, let me know.
So knowing that, unfortunately, I won't be able to attend either. We do work the same shift, so it's going to be difficult for me. Thank you, Senator Sertzel, reminding me of our other obligations. Anybody else?
Sucks. There's someone that told me.
All right. I think that does it.
Yep.
We're gonna move on now to announcements. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, June 19th in room C2402 at 4:30 PM. Complete lesson number 3 in Brightspace course, responsibilities of a senator. After adjournment, stick around for a discussion on lesson 2 for Brightspace. I don't see that taking very long. Do you advise people have a rough time frame? How long you want them to stick around for?
Continue to go along.
Well, with that, I entertain a motion for adjournment. All right, Senator Patillo, second by Senator Larson. Discussion? Hearing none, any online? Seeing none, hearing none. Let's still vote of unanimous consent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you,
6:19
everybody.
PM. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for coming. Bye, everybody online.